Hello everybody, this is Twin Flame from LifeTree TV. Today, I will talk about a man's story. This person used to live a very dynamic life with a variety of titles in South Korea. He's a very controversial person, regarded as a dictator by some people, but for other people he is remembered as a savior of the Koreans. His name is former South Korean President Park Jeong-Hee. Today, I will touch on his spirit soul and his true identity, which is being revealed through Captain Udeka's message titled The Cosmic Rank of Former South Korean President Park Jeong-Hee. Let me get started. The cosmic rank of former South Korean President Park Jeong-Hee is corresponding to the 9th level of the 13th dimension in the universe. His original spirit is one of the administrators who manages the spiritual hierarchy of Earth and is especially responsible for the development and maintenance of Asian civilizations. The Asian regions that the original spirit of President Park Jeong-Hee supervised are as follows. All regions of Northeast Asia, including China, Japan, and Korea. All regions of Central Asia, including Mongolia and Tibet. All regions of Southeast Asia and the Indochina Peninsula. And all of the Indian subcontinent. The administrators of the Earth's spiritual hierarchy are also called the Great White Brotherhood. The original spirit of Vladimir Putin, the present Russian president, is one of 6 administrators of the spiritual hierarchy of Earth and is in charge of Europe and Russia. All administrators of the Earth's spiritual hierarchy are now incarnated in the material world of Earth, participating in the Earth dimensional ascension. The original spirit of Russian President Vladimir Putin is involved in the history and culture in Europe and Russia. All the administrators of the spiritual hierarchy of Earth are born as human beings in the areas they are responsible for. They are being prepared to become spiritual or political leaders to open a new civilization in safety zones after the material civilization of Earth is completely collapsed through the cataclysmic pole shift of Earth. 2 former South Korean presidents, Park Jeong-hee and his daughter Park Geun-hye, are twin flames or twin spirit souls. Twin flames are 2 spirit souls who share the same original spirit and they are born contemporarily to perform special roles and missions. The characteristics of the original spirit of both presidents are as follows. Firstly, the original spirit of President Park Jeong-hee is a veteran spirit with a wealth of experience as an administrator of the spiritual hierarchy, which was gained on other planets before being assigned to Earth. The original spirit of President Park is a spirit invited to become an administrator of the Earth spiritual hierarchy with the recommendation of the heaven in order to prepare for the Earth dimensional ascension and to construct Jami-1 or the paradise of the material universe on Earth. This original spirit supervises all the departments of the Earth spiritual hierarchy and evaluates the tasks of those departments. The original spirit of President Park is engaged in planning and reviewing everything that occurs on the planet Earth. His original spirit is an administrator with such a wide view as to pursue projects to promote the cosmic status of Earth, rather than to only pay attention to the planetary affairs of Earth. His original spirit was given the special thought adjuster by the Creator so that it can carry out various tasks or missions very efficiently by harnessing his wisdom and foresight. The original spirit of President Park Geun-Hye was invited to become an administrator of the Earth's spiritual hierarchy after passing through a hard training in order to open a new spiritual civilization on Earth. President Park Geun-Hye is destined to live a pioneer's life in which she has to be ahead of times. A pioneer's life is hard to be acknowledged by the public contemporarily and can only be recognized after he passes through a long time of adversity. Secondly, the original spirit of President Park Jeong-Hee is well balanced in its operational abilities in terms of the management of material and spiritual civilizations. President Park Jeong-Hee was created by the Creator to have a high level of understanding of material civilization. Meanwhile, President Park Geun-Hye was created by the Creator to have a high level of understanding of spiritual civilization. President Park Jeong-Hee had the mission to construct the foundation of material civilization on the Korean peninsula, where poverty had been passed down from generation to generation. On the other hand, President Park Geun-Hye has a role in building a new spiritual civilization on the Korean peninsula after the cataclysmic pole shift of Earth is completed. For this reason, two President Parks were born as twin flames with the lives of sacrifice and service for the sake of the Koreans. Thirdly, the impeachment of President Park Geun-Hye was prepared by the heaven for the spiritual war between light and darkness at the end times. This impeachment is an event prepared elaborately by the heaven in order to awaken the consciousness of the Koreans at the end times. In the process of resolving the controversy over the impeachment of President Park, the camp of darkness will be distinguished automatically from the camp of light at the end times. The Koreans living on the Korean peninsula will participate in the spiritual war of light and darkness following their own political stances at their own levels of consciousness. As the facts hidden behind the impeachment of President Park Geun-Hye are revealed one by one, the consciousness of the Koreans will be awakened. The spiritual war between light and darkness will become evident in the Korean peninsula depending on the people's views of the impeachment of President Park. The masterminds behind the impeachment of President Park will be revealed through the people prepared by the heaven. Below are the missions and roles that were given to the original spirit of both President Parks from the Earth spiritual hierarchy. Firstly, the heaven blossomed ancient spiritual civilizations through the Koreans on the Earth. The heaven anchored the spiritual values on the planet Earth by utilizing the DAUM tribe, who had the energy of the Creator most abundantly. The spiritual values planted on earth by them are as follows. 홍익 인간, which refers to devotion to the welfare of mankind. 제세이화, which means that the heaven comes down to the earth and rules humans to help them get enlightened. 이도여치, which means ruling the world with the law and principle of the heaven. And 광명이세, which refers to ruling the world with bright light of the heaven. After a long time had passed, modern civilization was constructed in the West based on material civilization and science, and technology. As modern civilization progresses, mankind has established liberal democratic systems that can support modern civilization. On the other hand, the communist ideology, which includes class struggle as its core value, was born to reform unequal and absurd societies that have inevitably been formed during the advance of modern civilization. As modern civilization advances, an idea that the freedom and dignity of the individual and truthfulness should be pursued and assured has been established as a core value of modern civilization on the basis of Christian ethics. As mentioned above, the original spirit of President Park Geun-Hye is in charge of ancient civilizations as an administrator of the Earth's spiritual hierarchy. As such, her original spirit was given the role by the heaven to prepare for the settlement of present planetary civilization of Earth at the end times through the event called the impeachment of South Korean President Park Geun-hye. The impeachment of President Park Geun-hye represents not only the clash of civilizations, but also the confrontation of conflicting ideologies. Secondly, behind the confrontation between South Korea and North Korea is a conflict of values between those who advocate modern democratic systems and those who support communist systems. Also, behind the confrontation between South Korea and North Korea are confrontations of value systems such as morals and ethics between those who have lost the heaven and those who live with the heaven in their hearts. From the perspective of the heaven, it was necessary for the planet Earth to have a big figure who can push for anti-communist policies consistently and strongly in order to maintain the values of Hongik-Ingan, Jae-Se-Ihwa, and Gwangmyeon-Ise, which are the spiritual values that the heaven unfolded on earth, especially on the ancient Korean peninsula. From the standpoint of the heaven, the Korean peninsula is the first place where the human civilization was unfolded through Homo sapiens on earth. Everything must go back to the place it comes from or its roots when the end times come. Thus, the heaven had to choose the Korean peninsula as a place to terminate civilization of earth, in which all types of conflicts and confrontations arising from the material civilization on earth have been gathered and will be resolved eventually. By the will of the heaven, the Koreans, who are the descendants of the heaven, will play a pivotal role in opening a new spiritual civilization after the cataclysmic pole shift of Earth is ended. For this purpose, the impeachment of President Park Geun-hye was prepared by the heaven as the heavenly project to wake up the consciousness of the Koreans, which will be accomplished as the Koreans experience the spiritual war between light and darkness and extreme conflicts of ideologies. From the standpoint of the heaven, the original spirit of President Park Jeong-Hee, who has the core energy of Dan tribe most abundantly, was chosen for the mission to prevent the propagation of communism among the administrators of the Earth's spiritual hierarchy. Furthermore, the heaven planned the impeachment of President Park Geun-hye in order to awaken the consciousness of the Koreans who have been immersed in material abundance, and to let them restore the respect for the dignity of the individual and truthfulness, which is a core value of modern civilization containing the idea of the heaven-given human rights. Thirdly, the original spirit was assigned the mission to keep the harmony and balance between spiritual and material civilizations on the Korean peninsula because it has a rich experience in that aspect which was gained on other planets. In order to carry out the mission, the original spirit sent down two avatars of different genders to the material world. Mr. Park Jeong-Hee was one of its two avatars, played the role of a soldier before becoming a South Korean president because he was given the mission to lead the stream of the times when he lived by harnessing his masculine character. A new spiritual civilization will be based on femininity. The new spiritual civilization to be unfolded on the Korean peninsula requires the strong energy of women as well as the energy of the DAUM tribe. So the other avatar was sent down as a woman, equipped with the energy of the heaven to realize the values of a genuine spiritual civilization rather than to achieve former gender equality. President Park Geun-Hye came to earth with a life program of endurance and sacrifice. Fourthly, the most important role of President Park Jeong-Hee and President Park Geun-Hye is to sacrifice themselves for the Koreans. In order to wake up the consciousness of the Koreans, some of the leaders in South Korea must be sacrificed. The message containing the will of the heaven was delivered to the Koreans through President Park Jeong-Hee, who had the energy of the DAUM tribe most abundantly. The heaven hoped that the Koreans would not lose the spirit of the Koreans in the sweetness of material temptation, and that they would not forget the spirit of the Koreans in the midst of ideological confrontations between the left and right wings. For this reason, the heaven gave the Koreans the charter of national education, which begins with, "We were born in this country," with the historical mission of national restoration. The original spirit of President Park Jeong-Hee, who had the energy of DAUM tribe most abundantly, was requested to sacrifice itself for the awakening of the Koreans, and it was willing to accept the heaven's proposal. Thanks to the sacrifice of the original spirit of the two President Parks, a fierce war of values between light and darkness could be waged to regain the lost values through the impeachment of President Park Geun-Hye. On behalf of the heaven, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the original spirit of President Park Jeong-Hee. To President Park Geun-Hye, on behalf of the heaven, I am telling you that your sacrifice will not end in vain. With your sacrifice, the consciousness of the Koreans will be awakened, and your national flag, taegukgi, which is also a symbol of the heaven, will cover the Korean peninsula. With your sacrifice, the spirit of the Koreans, which have been forgotten for a long time, will be revived, and your national flower, 무궁화, or the rose of Sharon, which is also a flower of the heaven, will blossom all over your country. I, Captain Udeka, am leaving this message as a record in coordination with the heaven and in communication with the heaven. February 3rd in 2020. Udeka wrote. His message was translated by Twin Flame. Thank you so much for listening.